Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is an award winning actress, international media personality, producer, director, writer, author, public speaker, and of course, supermodel. No other than Miss Clarissa Bird.
Hello. Hello, Daniel. It's funny. People say, "Oh my God, you do all these things." Well, I said, "Well, yes, because I'm old and I've been on the planet a long time." So,
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Clarissa.
yay!
And what age did you realize that you have this beauty and brain?
It's a great question. I never really thought that either until maybe yesterday. Um, I was, this is why I wrote a book about self-esteem, because I understand the difficulties of, believing in yourself and knowing that there are all kinds of possibilities in this world for you. Also, the idea that we're going through some very difficult times in these last years is even more indication. And I invite everyone every chance I get to really do the work on themselves. Spend some time with your personal development, because it's always going to benefit you and benefit those around you. So I don't know when I really understood. I knew that I had dreams and I had goals, and I would hit each one of those dreams and goals. I wanted to be a model. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to work on television. I wanted to work in movies. I wanted to produce all of the things that you mentioned before, the things that I had dreamt about and the things that I did. And the good thing about dreams is that, once you realize a dream, Daniel, then you get to make new ones. And that's where I am now with, the book that came out is doing very well, called The Self-Esteem Regime. And the regime is an organized way of doing things. So my book explains, it's not a read, it's a manual, it's a mission, and it's a movement to see all people all over the world living as esteemed beings. So this is really my goal now. Because we need to be raising our energy, our vibrational energy and our consciousness, so that we can continue to live on this planet for a long time.
Yes, indeed, Miss Clarissa. So, at young age, do you think they have a self-esteem issues?
Yeah, well, I mean, they do. And certainly not all of us can choose our parents. And many people are brought up in homes that are not necessarily supportive. And some of these homes can be abusive, and some can be, violent. And so, there are many different case scenarios of where it is we start with our familial tribe. And so that sometimes we are foisted with generational trauma from our parents and our grandparents, and we have those things that we don't even know until we get out into the world and we realize, wait a minute, there's a whole different way to be. There's a whole different way I can interact in relationships. I don't have to yell. I don't have to scream. I don't have to be angry. I can really just be very, impactful and communicative in a very soft, easy, and gentle way. So there are many things that, that we come out of our families with as we go into the world, that it's on us. It's our sacred duty to adhere to learn about our value system. For example, Daniel, if I were to ask you or many people, anyone, what are your top 4 values? Most people don't know what values really are, and they certainly can't tell you what they are. So I came up with a value system that for me is very, very important. And it is, I take the high road. And the high is honesty, integrity, gratitude, and honor. So with every relationship now, whereas I am not perfect, I'm a human being, but I do have as my life's blueprint to come to a relationship, come to the table, come to a meeting, knowing that I am there to be brutally honest, that I will always live in integrity, that I obviously am grateful for everything that I have, everything that life presents to me. And then definitely when, when you go down the honor path, usually when we think about honor, we're thinking about the military, the honor in military. It's so much more than that. Your moral compass. It's who are you when no one else is in the room, when you don't have anyone else to be accountable to. Who are you really? And so, you must be able to work on all of the things that are our shortcomings, again, in order to be a better person tomorrow than we are today. And again, it's something that I really invite people to do, Daniel, because the world is in need of a better me.
Definitely, Miss Clarissa. So, at young age, how did you cope up your low esteem?
Well, at a young age, I think I was still understanding that I was very shy. I didn't think I was very pretty. I didn't think the boys liked me. I didn't, I didn't think all of those things. And my Catholic upbringing was teaching me to stay away from boys and not talk to boys and not my Catholic parents. And so they were teaching me at a young age, that, there's plenty of time for all of that. And just, to be a good girl. And I was a very, very good girl. But with that having been said, it took me a while as I got out into the world and started to realize my dreams and understand that it was really from the prompting of other people, very kind people that would say, you're so pretty, you really should be a model. You really could be a model. And I never thought I could, Daniel, but I really wanted to be. So I took the risk and I put on my big girl panties and I put on my big girl britches and I went scared and I went uncertain and I went really unsure of myself in every way. I still went to the modeling agencies in New York City and I took the pictures with the photographers and I was accepted. And that was the beginning of understanding that even as a young girl, when you don't believe in yourself, but you do have dreams, that you must absolutely try. Because remember, Daniel, that rejection and modeling, acting, all of those businesses are full of rejection. Yeah.
Yes.
So, remember that rejection is redirection. And so if you're not being accepted, okay, what's the next way? Where's another direction I can go? What's another thing I can try? Maybe I need to change agencies. Maybe and so you continue down the path of your dream, knowing that it is absolutely not impossible at all to achieve. That is the life lesson right now for all young people listening. Please not give up.
Very well said, Miss Clarissa. So how did you handle rejection?
Rejection is something that, it hurts. It kind of hurts, it's not an easy thing to handle. Here's how I sort of learned a little bit about it. When I was modeling, and I was going to different clients or, trying to find my jobs and going to the different photographers, there would usually be feedback. Yeah. Feedback either from the client or the photographer or feedback from the agency. And it was, oh, they said you were too skinny. Oh, they said you were too heavy. Oh, they said you were too blonde. They said you were too brunette. They said you were too, there's always something, Daniel, that, and a lot of times we take that rejection on ourselves when really the client and the photographer were not really sure what they were looking for. Really, they were not. So you have to understand that you're always going to be too much of something and not enough of something else for someone. And that's when it wasn't the right fit for you. You have to also believe in you. You believe in your capabilities. You believe in the possibilities. And you believe in, if you don't mind, you believe in a higher power, whatever that may be, knowing that you have a higher, I'm going to call it a vibrational energy, the universe. You call it what you source, God, call it what you will. But they are guiding you along the path to learn the things that you need to know. So if you need to learn about rejection because it's going to fortify you as a person now or later in whatever in your next let's say life class lessons,
Yes.
you will then be prepared.
So rejection is the process to get you better.
I think that rejection is definitely a part of the things that happen to us in life that will help us understand. Again, rejection is redirection. Okay. Rejection, it hurt. Let me process that. Okay. Now I know I have to go in another direction. Let me think about what the next steps are. I think rejection also keeps us motivated in some way. When we get past the initial hurt, we get past the initial offense, and again, start acting in a more mature manner. We understand that these are life path lessons that we must go through, Daniel. There's no easy, I'm sorry, there's no easy way through life, Daniel. We all know that. And we
Yes.
also know that the better person that we will be tomorrow is because of the hard lessons we're learning today.
Miss Clarissa, tips for becoming a superwoman like you.
Oh my goodness. Well, get old and then no, I say old. I mean, again, life teaches you. Every day is a blessing. Every day is is such a joy. There are so many different things that we can do and we can learn. And we when I was a kid, Daniel, I didn't have internet. I didn't have computers and cell phones. There was none of that. So, if you want to know and you want to learn, you will find the way. And for me back in the day, it was the bookstores. We had 3 bookstores here in the United States. It was Walden Books, it was Borders Books, and now the ever still up and running Barnes and Noble. I'm happy to tell you that my international award-winning, Pluri award-winning book is in the Barnes and Noble stores here in the United States. I think in Canada you can get it on Amazon, but the idea that after a year and a half, my book is still in Barnes and Noble, is a great indicator that the personal development aisle in Barnes and Noble now is rows and rows and rows. When I first started as a young girl, as you've asked me a couple times, there was only one little section, Daniel, in the back of the store, and it was called self-help. And
Yes.
it may have had 40, 50 books on it. Not a big deal. Now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So my point being, get the book, buy the course, do the work, find the mentor. Again, not all of us are lucky enough to be born into a happy situation in our family life. We do what we can. We navigate it until we can get out onto our own. We love our family and we thank them always. We always honor our parents no matter what, even if they were not the greatest parents. And we do that because we understand that it wasn't about us. It was about what they had not yet learned in their life path and that they were putting on us. So we want to make sure that we stay away from any of the dysfunction that they taught us. And I don't think they did it maliciously, but they did it, right? Always being careful of that. So do the work. You've got to want to start to be, to want to be really. I'm very, very worried also about our younger kids today. The CDC, here, our Attorney General, McMurphy, I think his last name is, and the Dove Self-Esteem Project are all talking about, we have a youth mental health crisis. I'm sure you have it in Canada as well. We have children of, elementary, high school, and college age. I say children, I mean young adults, that are are either experienced, many, at least 50%, as the CDC is telling us, that are suffering with anxiety and depression, that are thinking of committing suicide or have committed suicide. And today they say unaliving themselves. So however that works for you. But these are horrible statistics and things we must be mindful of. We must be, working closer with our youth. We must be getting back to the kitchen table with our families. We must be putting down these devices. Look, Daniel, if we get together with our family, seriously, think about the time that we are at the table. Is it 20 minutes to 30 minutes really out of our day? When you say to everybody, put down the devices, it's our time now. I really want to, I want to love on you. I want to hear about you. I want to validate you. I want to know about you. What's happening in your life? How are you? Come give me a hug. Now go wash the dishes.
Yes.
These kinds of things that keep us together and amalgamated as family, I think, are the things that are really the things we must not be missing. Now, I am not a parent. I've never been a parent. I've been a mother to many. I have mothered many, and I am a caregiver for sure. So I cannot understand directly how difficult it is to parent today, and it must be really, really challenging, because I hear the stories, I speak to people, and I know it is not an easy go these days with kids. But I think that we have to understand that they have, with these devices in their hands, they have grown up in a completely different way, with a whole different mindset and more information than they were ready to learn or ready to accept at young ages.
Yes. What are your short-term and long-term goals in writing?
Yeah, so short-term and long-term goals right now are working still, with on the book. I'm creating now courses, classes, and a retreat for people that want to come and work with me one-on-one. We do go into the 4 pillars of self-esteem in these retreats, which are look good, feel good, be good, and greater good. So look good when we look good on the outside, we're dressing well, we're presenting well to the world, we feel good about ourselves. Feel good, diet, exercise, nutrition, making sure we're taking care of our bodies. Be good is leadership, relationship, your finances, your business, and making sure up there. And then greater good, Daniel, is giving back, volunteering, paying it forward, tithing, all of those things that make, and it's little gestures. A lot of people don't have a lot to give today. They're just barely making it to month's end. But it can be something like a smile. It can be a compliment. It can be holding the elevator door open for someone. It can be helping a woman down the stairs with a baby carriage, standing up for an elderly person or a pregnant woman on the public transportation. It can be little things that are a way of paying it forward and giving back. So it doesn't have to be big broad stroke gestures, but I do believe that we need to be living in really be living in kindness.
Yes, indeed, Miss Clarice. So before we go, and I want to shout out to the people listening to these countries according to my ranking tops in the last 30 days on my Apple chart. In Zimbabwe, I got on number 8. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Norway at number 12. United Arab Emirates at number 21. Nepal at 27. Chile at number 40. Egypt at number 70. Zambia at 122. Hong Kong at 123. South Africa at 135. Canada at 141. Ireland at 173. Philippines at 180. Mongolia at 175. Algeria at 187. Libya at 200, and India at 213. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast, because this podcast is created to empower writers all over the world, like Miss Clarissa Bird.
Woo! Well, that's so impressive. Congratulations. That's so impressive.
Thank you, Miss Clarissa. So the self-esteem regime and action plan for becoming a confident person you were meant to be. How did you crafted it?
It's 12 different chapters, each beginning with a reword. And what I want this book to be is it is a manual. It's not a read. You're not going to read about self-esteem. It's a manual. It's almost a workbook, if you will. It's, for me, again, it's a manual, it's a mission, and it's a movement. And this book with its 12 chapters, meaning we start with release, then we go into rebuild, then we go into responsibility. Where are we taking the responsibility for our life, Daniel, and where are we shirking responsibility? What do we need to be paying more attention to? So this book, actually, with case studies, with affirmations, with exercises, with the review, with Clarissa's Corner, with the Clarion Call, every chapter is chock full of information, and it's kind of Some of it's fun to do, and boy, oh boy, I will tell you, some of it is going to take a little bit of digging. You're gonna, you
Yes.
might want to, you may need to read and reread. You might have to put the book down for a day or two, but you must go back, because the work itself is not always going to be easy, Daniel. When we start taking a really good look at ourselves and our lives, we really have to start understanding that we're going to need to be tenacious. We're going to have to be, more than anything, courageous. You must affront all personal development work with courage, because it will be very enlightening. And some of the things you'll find out about yourself are going to, they might surprise you, but that's okay. We're still in time, and we can always course correct. Thank the Lord, we've got time to do that until the Lord calls us home, I guess.
Yes. And according to Miss Doreen Donning, wisdom for realigned life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you do that as a manual, Miss Clarice?
Well, I think that it was really, more than anything, Daniel, it was my life's lessons. I saw, the things in my life that I needed clarity on. I needed to understand. I have a beautiful mother who never wanted to be on camera. She wouldn't want her picture taken. She was a very beautiful and bright woman, but she never saw herself that way. My grandmother, a very beautiful woman also, who decided she needed to lose weight. And believe me, Daniel, she didn't. She was about 47, I think, and she took 2 diet pills to lose weight. Well, she choked on them. She perforated her esophagus and wound up 6 weeks in the hospital. This is many years ago. And I'm looking at these women that I absolutely adore. And one of the reasons I wrote this book was because my perception of these 2 fantastic women was
Yes.
completely different than the perception they had of themselves. And that drives me crazy. So when I see someone, and when I work with someone that I think of my book and me, I would like to think I am like a cheerleader, your own personal cheerleader. I am a rah-rah session. I really want to make sure that, women especially, but we work with men. The cover of my book is blue because I want men to do the work as well. But most people really have to, you don't hear how good they are, how big they are, how bold they are, how beautiful they are, how strong they are, how intelligent they are. Most people are not. Your boss probably isn't telling you. Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, they're probably not saying it. Your mother, your father, there are a lot of times in our lives where we need a little bit of affirmation. We need a little bit of encouragement. We need to remember who we are. And so that is why we do the work on ourselves, because we can't wait for everybody to tell us these things. That would be silly. We have to tell ourselves. So one of the exercises in the book, Daniel, is a mirror therapy. You are going to get into the mirror and you're going to tell yourself. So that's a whole different exercise in the book too. And it looks weird and it feels strange and it's completely off the cuff. It's completely, unexpected, but it's probably the most impactful exercise in the book is when you look in the mirror and you say to yourself out loud, I love you. I appreciate you. I forgive you. I'm so proud of you. And you start saying these things to yourself and you're like, God dang, okay, all right. And, this is how you start to realign or wire, if you will, your subconscious. Your subconscious believes everything you tell it. So you must be careful it's like AI. Right?
Yes.
Artificial intelligence. Every AI gives you everything you put into it, and it takes it all in, and then it gives you back the answer that you ask for. Your subconscious does the same thing. So if you're telling it all the time what a horrible person you are and how you're not as good as Susie Q, well, what do you think the universe is going to send back to you?
Definitely.
I say this too, and I love leaving people with this. It is, people always think that the grass is greener on the other side, Daniel. But I'm here to tell you that the grass is greener where you water it.
Definitely. One of the best analogy, Miss Clarissa. And according to Miss Maureen Pisani, everyone needs to read and practice the self-esteem regime.
Yes.
Wow.
We need to
The-
read it and you need to practice it and you need to read it again and you need to read it again. It's because how many times have we seen a movie and you get through it and then you see the movie a second time, you go, I don't remember that the first time I saw it. Or you read a book and then you read it again. And you say, I don't remember that the first time I read the book. Is because you weren't ready to receive the message yet. You weren't ready. So if you go back and you read the book again and do the work again, you will garner all new things, little things maybe, but new things you didn't capture the first time.
yes, indeed. And according to Queen Chan, empowering and inspiring. Wow, I love this, Miss Clarissa.
Yeah.
How did you make your manual so empowering and inspiring?
Because I think it talks to every person. I think that, when we can go through a book and we can go, okay, look, obviously, if you're looking at my book, you might need to do some work. And if you need to do some work, don't worry about it. I'm here for you. Okay, let's go. What do you need to release? Chapter 1. What do you need to release? What's not working for you? What do you believe is etched in stone that is not true? Where are your belief systems? What have you been taught? What is it you need to let go of? Do that work. And that right there is going to be a huge part of what you will do for the next 11 chapters. Then the next chapter is rebuild. Okay, we're at ground zero now after releasing. Let's rebuild. Tell me what you want to rebuild. Where do you want to rebuild from? What do you want to rebuild? What's not working in your life? How do you want to see it differently? Okay, great. Chapter 3, where are the responsibility? Now we know what's not working and what you want to rebuild, but where are you going to take responsibility? You must take it straight across the board. Great, we've got a blueprint. You've got your blueprint now, but you've got to take responsibility for it because some of it's going to be difficult and you cannot step away from the process.
Yes, definitely. So, Miss Clarissa, the self-esteem regime, is it the manual that we need nowadays, most especially for our Gen Z and millennials?
Yeah, I think a lot of people need it. I speak to senior citizens. They're going through a whole different thing now in life, right? Empty nesters, not working, not really sure who they are, losing spouses. They also are going through a whole new reinvention, if you will, period. Well, now who am I now that I'm an empty nester and the children have left the house? Well, now who am I that I've aged out of my work and what can I do now? Well, who am I now that I'm not Joe's wife anymore because he passed on? There are many different things in life, no matter what age we are, that life will trigger us, Daniel. And when it does trigger us, we need to have the tools in the shed that we have garnered through doing the personal development work that will be there for us when the storm comes through. So here comes the storm and it's coming through and it devastates my, let's say, my backyard. Okay, my backyard is a mess. Well, okay, my life is a little bit of a mess when some of these things happen. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to the back. I'm going to go into my tool shed, which is in the garage, so it didn't get in the storm. I'm going to get my shovel and I'm going to get my rake and I'm going to get my broom and I'm going to pull out the hose and I'm going to clean things up. This is how, it's kind of a silly analogy, but it's a true analogy. When we go through life and life will trigger us, and I can promise you one thing, that it will always do. You will always, always be triggered by something. It will be something, someone in your family, someone dear to you, something could happen to you. It's going to be a death in the family. There's going to be sickness. There's going to be illness. There will be betrayal. There will be financial catastrophe. There will be things in our lives that will happen. And I don't wish it on anyone, but we know life to be life. We know these things can happen. And when they do, go through the process. There will be a grieving process. There will be a difficult moment. There will be a time when you think you cannot take one more hit and you can't move forward. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can, and I'm here to show you that the way.
Yes, very well said, Miss Clarissa. But before we go on, I'm inviting you to listen to my other podcast, Food 101, on our third season with Chef Alessandro, one of the best executive chefs in one of the best restaurant in downtown Toronto.
Woo!
Woohoo! And please please do listen to our latest episode upcoming this Tuesday. We're gonna talk about lasagna, people, one of the trademark of Italian cuisine. Plus one more, our books are out, not only one, but 7 volumes, people. Food 101, Volume 1, Basics until 7. It is created to empower how to create a delicious food. So please do grab a copy, available on Amazon and leading online bookstores worldwide. So, Miss Clarissa, what is the best highlight of your latest book, The Self-Esteem Regime?
I think one of the most important things that I would like to leave you with is we always talking about I am enough. I am enough. You are enough. We are enough. Everybody is enough. But if you look up the definition of enough, Daniel, it is only as much as is required. Well, just the definition of enough isn't enough. So the new mantra is I am so much more than enough.
I think so. We think so. So the self-esteem regime, if you want to go back and revise itself, which part of the book you want to revise?
Which one would I revise?
Yes.
I think the only thing that I would revise in the entire book itself would be adding 12 more chapters. I mean, yes. I love the book the way it is. I think it's changing lives one chapter at a time. Again, it's awards. It's still in the most important bookstore in the United States. It's an international bestseller. I'm thrilled with it. I just think that people need to just, be reminded again that it's that important to do the work. It is your sacred duty to do the personal development work.
Definitely. And according to Avender, the perfect guide to reset and renew your life.
Yes. Yeah. You do reset and you do renew. And those are 2 more words. You see, I could do reset and renew in the next chapters.
Yes. Miss Clarissa, can you give us an example how to reset your life and renew it?
Well, you have to take a really good look at what's not working. So what's not working? Where is it that you really need to be, spending more time and giving more attention to? And this is kind of the responsibility work that we go through as well. So where is it? Okay. So let's say, I don't know, my business is doing fine, but I really don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. I'd love to have some. Then you must carve out that time. You must carve out that time to, I don't know, whatever it is you want to do. Put it out to your friends that you're looking for someone, that special someone in your life. Go on to, today we have dating apps. We have dating websites. There are meetup groups that I think are really another really great way of going about finding like-minded people. Let's say you like hiking. Go on to meetup.com, get onto the hiking groups that are in your area, go out hiking. Why? Not only is that a good thing to do because you're working out as well, but, you're meeting a whole new set of people. I think it's important to continually be putting yourself out there, do the networking, and let people know that, you are looking for a significant other, another really a person that's very special that you can bring into your personal, life. Let's put it that way. I didn't want to say intimate life. I want to say personal life. If it becomes intimate, I guess that's a part of it too. But yeah, so take a look what's not working. That's where I would renew and reset. I would definitely say what's not working. Where do we, and put in again, put in a motion, put in a plan. Where do I need to go? Where do I need to be? How can I meet this person? And that's where you need to go.
Definitely. Very well said, Miss Clarissa. And I suggest a book that you can write, Longevity, How to Maintain Beauty Within You.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great one. I'll have to think about that. As soon as I get rid of some of the things on my desk, and, I'll write another book. Sure. Yes. Absolutely. Cool.
Definitely. Can I invite you to my other podcast, Food 101, and let's talk about your culinary book?
Yes, I would love that. Yeah.
It's a gluten-free something, right?
Yes, the Italian gluten-free gastronomy cookbook. Unfortunately, when I was living in Italy for 30 years, I didn't know that I was having difficulty with gluten, and many times I was having difficulty with anaphylactic shocks. And I'd find myself in the hospital, or I would have to give myself the EpiPen. And so, because it's gluten is in pizza and pasta and pane, it's in the wheat, right? So
Yes.
I decided that it'd be really good to do something as gluten free for Italian food, and yeah, it's doing really well.
Self-esteem regime and action plan for becoming a confident person you were
We were
meant
meant to
to
be.
be. What do you think the flaws?
What do I think are flaws?
Yes.
I think the only flaw, it would be in not doing the work. Guys, tomorrow isn't promised. What are we waiting for? I think that we're blessed. It may not always feel that way, but you have been blessed with another day. So make it count. Do the work on yourself. Make sure that you are. If you can wake up every morning and with that thought in mind, with the mindset and the mantra to say, how can I be a better person today than I was yesterday? And here's another thing that I think is really important. Here's a flaw that in the whole matrix of self-esteem, if you will. We do compare ourselves to others. Which is flaw number one. You're never going to be like anybody else. You're not supposed to be like anybody else, and you need to be really grateful that you are you. Number one. And number two, the only person you need to be comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Who were you yesterday? Compare yourself to that, and then want to be better than that. Can you imagine? As we were talking about before, the four pillar of the my four values, which are honesty, integrity, gratitude, and honor. Can you imagine if the entire world, by miracle, woke up tomorrow and everybody on the planet was honest? The world we would live in, Daniel. Can you imagine the world you would live in if we woke up tomorrow and everybody on the planet was living in gratitude and being so thankful for what they have and working toward what it is they would love their lives to look like? Can you imagine if everybody in the world tomorrow, for a miracle, magic, was living in integrity? Oh, I mean, it would be utopia. It would be what, but I know that's it's not a possibility. But if we were to show up that way, if we showed up that way, what kind of a world, what kind of a life we'll be creating for ourselves, for those around us? And remember about that generational. The generational part that we are passing on to our children as we teach them that the toxic that we learned, all the toxic things that we learned, stop with us. Stop. And that's why we do the hard work. We roll up our sleeves. We get down and dirty in the trenches to make sure that we are doing that personal development, that self-improvement work, being self-aware, living in self-esteem, being self-confident. Confident, meaning with trust. Confidere, right? Confidere
Yes.
means with trust. You know that from Spanish, probably from Spanish roots. I know it from Italian roots, or from it.
Yes.
Actually, it's Latin. But you understand that it means with trust. I live with confidence. I live with trust in myself that I am doing the right thing, that I am a good husband, that I am a good daughter, that I am going to be great in my presentation today, that I am going to be good on stage today, whatever it is, that I am going to be a fun person to be around.
Very well said, Miss Clarissa. But before we go on, I want to shout out to the people listening in Italy. Grazie mille tutto,
Grazie.
Italy. Grazie. I have 15 places in Italy. And next time, do my segment, I'm going to shout out all the places in Italy. And before that, please do grab a copy of my latest climate change book, Earth Fever, The Unraveling Climate, and a Race to Restore Balance. It's all about a comprehensive, enlightening book about climate change, people. It's up to us how we battle it because It's up to us for our generations to come. So please do grab a copy. My latest climate change book, Earth Fever, the Unraveling Climate and a Race to Restore Balance. Available on Amazon and leading online bookstores worldwide. So, Miss Clarissa, the sophist and regime, can you please invite our listeners to buy your book or your manual?
Yeah, it's absolutely. You can, and yes, please do. I'd love it I would love it because I know that the book is working. I'm getting wonderful feedback from people that are reading the book and that, are telling me that this book is changing their lives. So I'm so thrilled as an author to hear that. And you can find my book on Amazon straight, across the world, anywhere on Amazon, it's there. And you can find it in Barnes and Noble stores, and of course on Barnes and Noble online. I will also tell you that the book is on Audible and it's also on Kindle. So no excuses, everybody.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Clarissa Bird because if you support her, more books to come. I want to read the book Longevity: How to Maintain the Beauty Within.
Yeah, I will do it. I will do it.
Yes, thank you so much. More to come, people. See you soon.